If you're a psychic looking to gain respect and credibility inside the psychic world and in other industries, this episode is one you are not going to want to miss. In this episode, I'm going to share with you the psychic standards and responsibility and the ethics that I truly believe all psychics should hold in order to be respected and to be valued at a level at which you deserve as a psychic reader. So over the course of the last 10 years, I have been a master psychic, healer, and energy reader. I am often known as the psychic. I consult for 7- and 8-figure businesses, and I get paid what I'm worth because of the psychic standards and in the integrity level that I hold in all of my services. So for years, people have been viewing psychics for entertainment purposes. They oftentimes are the butt of people's jokes. There are so many communities and industries and people of all walks of life who do not respect, nor do they actually even believe in psychics. They oftentimes see them as being untrue, of manipulating people. Even a year ago, I met this random guy and he told me that he was telling somebody about me. And that person told him to be careful that I wasn't a charlatan. Now, I wasn't offended by this because just like everyone gets to have their own opinion in every walk of life, people absolutely get to have their own opinion regarding psychics. And if I'm honest with you, I had my own opinion about psychics when I first really started diving into my psychic abilities and realizing that I was psychic. So there is a lot that's going on, but as psychics, we have the ability to shift that. People don't believe us between things that have happened in the past and things that I've seen happen even today. I myself as well has been questioned. I've been made to prove my abilities and to prove what I can do. I have been put on the spot by people challenging me because they have this fear and they just don't understand, nor do they believe psychics. Now, it is not our job to convince people to believe us. We can absolutely do that. But one of the things that it is our job is to earn their respect by maintaining a higher level of standard and a higher level of practice with our psychic ethics. And in this episode, I'm going to show you exactly what to do in order to be able to do that. After being psychic for the majority of my life and spending the last 10 years running my own psychic practice, I have come up with 6 things that are non-negotiables for me that I teach all of my psychics to also understand. Now, whether they incorporate them into their work or not is absolutely up to them and their choice. Everybody has a different level of ethics. Everybody has a different level of being able to show up in the world. But I'm going to share with you the 6 that I think are absolutely non-negotiables. If you want to be respected, if you want to be seen as, a symbol of authority and gain people's trust, being able to be paid for the value that you bring and to be able to be sought out as a psychic in your industry. Okay, so let's dive into what these 6 non-negotiable psychic standards and levels of integrity are. So number 1, this is my absolute must. If there's one thing you do on this is the one that I encourage you to absolutely do. And that is, we do not read people's energy without their permission. And we certainly don't put these people in reading their energies on blast on social media where everybody is looking at you as if you're the authority. And now you're telling people how other people are, especially if you're not right. And I see that happen a lot. Now, here's the thing. This is always what I go off of. Now, when I say we don't read people without their permission, we don't read energetics past a certain level without their permission. If somebody comes to you for a session, I will tell you what, there's nothing I hold back. I do it in a very specific way, but there's nothing I hold back in a session. If you come to me I can read any depths of level of your energetics. You purchasing a session from me gives me permission to do that. But every single person does things a little bit differently. And as a psychic, I can read anybody's energy anywhere, anytime, any place. It doesn't take me long to do that. And that might seem uncomfortable for some people. It's just the facts of who I am and my psychic gifts. And I know a lot of psychics can do that, but that doesn't necessarily mean we read their energy. There are absolutely different levels. There are three main levels of energetics within inside the body, which I'm going to cover in another podcast. But our job and our responsibility as any human is absolutely to be able to read the top level. This is the energy that people are constantly putting out. This is like the clothes that our people are wearing. And this is how I describe it. I wouldn't expect you to be like, oh no, don't look at my hair. Don't look at my earrings. Don't look at, the color of my skin. Don't look at the color of my sweater I'm wearing. You can't see that. Absolutely not. I'm standing here. I'm on this podcast. You can see me. You absolutely have the ability to look at any of the stuff that I'm presenting to you. But with energetics, there's a privacy level to it. So everything that I'm putting out and everything that's on the top layer of my energetics, you are free to read. That is a way in which humans communicate, is a level of energetics. It is absolutely important that we read that. It's how we know people. But I'm talking, we don't go deeper to look at your childhood woundings, to look at your deep emotional secrets that you have, to look at the turmoil that you're going through, to look at the things that are going on in your life that are none of our business. This is how I absolutely explain it. Just because somebody's garage door is wide open at their house or their front door is unlocked, it doesn't give you permission to go inside. So yeah, you can walk by and you can kind of glimpse in the garage and see that it's either a mess or incredibly clean or whatever it is. But you don't have the free right to walk into the garage and go through the drawers within inside their cabinets or look through the stuff that is piled or open up their car door. You don't have permission to walk into their house just because the house is unlocked. Those are the same rules with psychic gifts. And I know for a lot of psychics, me especially, you have to learn how to not read the deeper levels. But I will tell you what, I don't care if somebody is a celebrity. I do not care if somebody posts their picture. A psychic taking somebody's picture and reading the energetics around it and saying, this is why this person did this, and this is what they're doing, and this is how they're thinking, and this is how they're feeling. I know because I read their energetics or connected to their soul or whatever thing. That's absolutely a low integrity thing. And it goes against the higher standards that psychics should hold for themselves. Just because somebody posts a picture online, they're not expecting a psychic to take that picture and to divulge very personal and private information. That's just not fair. And I personally do not care if it's somebody famous or somebody in the limelight. Now, I absolutely will I teach my clients how to read absolutely different levels of people, but we do not dive into their personal information and put it on blast. Okay. That is a huge no-no for me. We should always have permission, and a session is permission. If somebody buys a session for you, you don't have to say, how deep do I go? And sometimes I do. I say, how deep do you want me to go? Because I can go really, really deep for some things. So we have this amazing gift. We need to treat it with respect and with this higher level of integrity when we use it, and especially when we use it publicly. Okay. This is like my soapbox I will never hop off of, because I've seen a lot of people do some damage with their psychic abilities, but I also see a lot of people put people on blast and they're not accurate. They're just not accurate. Okay. Number 2, you should always be using your discernment in regard to what information you give and how you give it. And this is so crucial. As a psychic, we are always receiving information, and some of that information can be very hard for people to hear. I'm talking an illness, a loss of a job, a dissolving of a relationship, us seeing that somebody's on the wrong path in life, us seeing, whatever it is, that there's a lot of struggles coming ahead. Us as psychics need to be able to give people that information without totally destroying their life. We need to be able to see what's happening and help to guide them through it, not just be like, oh my God, you better buckle up because your whole life is coming apart. I cannot tell you how many times people have come to me because they have felt worse after going to a psychic reading because of the information the psychic gave and the way in which they gave it. I recently had an interaction with a college student, and she said to me that a psychic told her she was totally on the wrong path and she wasn't going to do it, and that's why she was struggling, and this just wasn't true. And I understood what the psychic was trying to say, so I did reiterate that I don't think she means that you're totally on the wrong path, but I see instead of doing this avenue of what you're learning, you're going to take it even deeper and you're going to do this, this, and this. And this woman was like, this young girl, she was like, oh my God, that feels so good. And it makes me feel so much better. And yeah, I get that. And I feel that way too. It is all in how we deliver the information we give. So your discernment in regard to what information you specifically give and how you give it is crucial. Absolutely crucial. We are raising the standards of how we are psychics in all industries. Number 3, as a psychic, you must practice, 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 and more practice. The more you practice, the more you are able to get out of the human and into the psychic energy. When you learn how to be psychic, people oftentimes dive right in and they're like, oh my God, I can do this, 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 and this. You are just at the tip of the iceberg. And I promise you, I have been doing this my entire life, over 40 years. I have been actively growing my psychic abilities for the last 10. And there are some amazing things that I can do that most psychics cannot do. I am the psychic. And there are still so many more things I know I get to learn. You must practice as a psychic. We don't go to the gym once and expect ourselves to have like rock solid abs. At least I don't. I wish it happened, but it doesn't. We also have to have that same mentality with our psychic gifts. You must be practicing. You must be refining. You must be continuing to expand your gifts, just like anybody in their industry who wants to be a master at what they do would be required to do. Psychics are no exception. Okay. Number 4. And this one is, I freaking love this one. It is so important. It's one of those things that as a psychic, it was very hard to do, but it was also so freaking beneficial when I learned how to do this for myself. Now, as a psychic, we pride ourselves in being able to have the information and being able to be accurate at what it is that we do. Part of being a psychic is that people trust you, is that they come to you for an answer and you're like, yeah, I've got the answer. I've absolutely got it. So part of being an ethical and a high standard psychic is being honest about what you aren't able to connect with and what you aren't certain of the information. And this is very hard because that's admitting that you don't know. That's admitting that you possibly could be wrong. That's admitting that you don't have the answer. And it's not just psychics that I see struggle with this, but psychics, there's like a whole new level of it because you're out there and you're like, I can read energetics and I can talk to guides. And then somebody comes to you with a question and you're like, oh my God, I don't know that I can read that. I don't know. I don't have the answer. And people don't understand. They're like, I know, but you say you can talk to guides. If you can talk to guides, just ask my guides and you can get this information. That's not always how it works. Okay. It's absolutely not always how it works on that logical way. So one of the things that has truly elevated my standards of psychics and my respect that I've gotten from clients is being 100% honest when I am not certain or I'm not able to get that information. And there's many reasons why I wouldn't be able to, or I'm not certain about information. I can talk a whole podcast on what those things are so people really know and psychics can really do their due diligence. But you are not going to get and you are not going to be certain about every answer to every question all the time. Now, 99% of the time, you might be pretty accurate. Okay. 99% of the time, you might feel very confident in what you're getting. Maybe it's 50% of the time. Maybe it's 75. I don't care what the percentage is. What is most important is that when you are not confident, when you are not fully trusting what you got, say it. Like, be honest with people. Really say, I'm not fully certain on this. Like, it was hard for me to get this information, so I'm not actually truly confident in this. Or you can even say, I can't get that information at that time. I'm not getting anything. I'm really not getting anything at this moment. You are going to earn people's respect so much faster. You don't need to have every single answer. You really don't, even as a psychic. But you do need to earn people's respect, and you will do it that way. Okay. Now, number 5, this kind of is on the tail end of that, okay? Whenever you're doing a psychic reading, especially if you're not positive of what it is that you're getting or the answer that you got, as a psychic, you always have to give the power back to the client. They are not required to listen to you. And I 100% tell people that every time. I say, I'm going to give you information. I channel for your highest good. I am very certain in what I get. There are times I even stress that. There are times the client will question me or they'll be like, well, I don't know. And it's like, there is no other truth than what I'm seeing. There really isn't. And there are absolutely times when there are no other truth than what I'm seeing. And I will say, listen, I know this doesn't make sense, but I am never wrong. I am never wrong. And this is something you absolutely need to hear. But even when I say that, from the first moment I connect with people, whether it's online or what it is, people always know that I'm going to give you what I get. But if you don't resonate with it, and again, there's extenuating circumstances, but their guides are just like, no, 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 they need to see this. But always, it is the client's responsibility to do their own discernment. If something I say doesn't resonate with you, leave it. Leave it. Come back later. Especially when I do lives, and I don't do these very often, but I'll do live channel thing. I will say, if something I say doesn't resonate with you, just leave it. You don't have to listen to me. I am just giving you the guidance. It is always the receiver's responsibility to do their due diligence and to take action. I see a lot of psychics take responsibility for people's lack of action after they give them a reading. I cannot even tell you how many times somebody will come to me and say, and it doesn't happen that often, but it's noticeable when somebody comes in, they're like, you said I was going to write a book. And I'm like, uh-huh. And they're like, I didn't write a book. I'm like, okay. Did you make time? Did you put in your schedule? Did you start writing? Did you contact a writing coach? There's a million things. Did you do any of them? And they're like, well, no, you like said I was going to write a book. It just didn't happen. One of the things that is super important for us to remember, and I've had psychics come to me and say, I told someone they were going to create this amazing program and they didn't create it. And I'm now like, what do we do? They didn't make the money. They didn't sell this. They didn't whatever. It's not about what we see. It's about the action that you take. And I always tell my clients what action to take. Like if I tell you I see something in the future, I'm 100% going to tell you how to get there. Okay. It still doesn't mean somebody does it. So as a psychic, by us taking responsibility for somebody else's responsibility, meaning what they're supposed to do, the action they're supposed to take, we take away their power. So as a psychic, it is so important. Our standard should be, this higher integrity level should be, it's always the client's responsibility. But that also means if they don't listen to you, if it doesn't resonate with them, if they do not agree with the information you give them, that's theirs. They have every right to do that. It is not your job to try to convince somebody of something, okay? Ever. And number 6, we never use our psychic skills in order to manipulate or control somebody. And this is a doozy. I started with a doozy. I'm ending with a doozy. I see a lot of people use their psychic gifts to manipulate others and to control others. I've had people come to me and say, I channeled on somebody because they're mad and I want to find out why they're mad because I want to get back at them. Abso-freaking-lutely not. This is one of the things that brings a lot of fear to people. I will tell you a story. Recently, I was in a group of very successful entrepreneurs, authorities in their field, and I met this gentleman who reads faces. He reads like the structure of your face to tell you about yourself and how you navigate through life. And when an amazing man, amazing guy, great gentleman. And he was sharing how he does that. And for a split second, I was like, oh my God, I wonder if he read my face. I wonder if so he knows me at a deeper level. And I literally started laughing out loud. I was like, wow, I wonder if people feel this way about me because I can read anybody. Anything that you're putting out there, I am picking up every moment of the day. And as psychics and as energy readers, we have the ability to see things that some people can't see. We can know things that even others don't know, and we can use that to manipulate and control people. And this is a big no-no for me, a big no. Absolutely not. Just because you have information around somebody, even permission, it does not mean on any level that can use that information for your benefit, for your gain, for your success or results. We don't do that. And there are a lot of people who will use black magic, or they'll use their energy reading or their energy skills to take what they want, to take the power away from people, to do certain things. And it's a big no-no for me. It's one of those things that absolutely not on any level should any psychic be doing that. And these things that I shared with you here today are absolutely, if you follow them, this is absolutely going to help to increase the respect that people have of you, to really allow people to see you as an authority, to allow people to, have this trust in you and to rely on you and come to you because they absolutely need that guidance. I've seen a lot of people put blind faith into psychics, completely blind faith, and they expect us to be able to show up at a certain level because they explicitly trust us. It is our jobs as psychics in order to step up to that bar. People are raising the bar for us, and it's psychics' job to step up to that bar so that we can be respected. We can be seen as an industry that is well maintained, and the integrity level is honest, is accurate, and can absolutely serve humanity for the highest good. But if we believe that all psychics are doing that, if we look at the psychic industry and say that, we are absolutely greatly mistaken, because there are a lot of things going on in the psychic industry that are not at that standard. Part of my purpose here is to help raise the bar and raise the standard for psychics. Part of what you get to do is step into your role in that responsibility as well. I am not here to tell you what to do. Everybody has their own level of integrity, and oftentimes it's dictated by their wounds and it's dictated by human and ego. But as a psychic, you have an opportunity to be able to decide how you're going to use your gifts and how you're going to share them with the world. And I encourage you to get really clear on what your standards are, what your psychic ethics are, and start raising that bar for yourself so we move through this life as psychics with the highest integrity possible. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to like and share, comment below. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you would like support just being around other psychics or growing your psychic gifts, please be sure to check the show notes where you can find a link for my free Psychic Elegance community, or to join me at a higher level in my psychic membership. And I'd love to hear what you thought about this episode. And I will see you next time on The Psychic Within. Bye.